has been able to accomplish would not be possible. We have been going strong for 29 years now and have been able to have that impact because of you. Now, we haven't been able to gather together for the last few years due to the COVID-19 pandemic. There's a saying that I'm sure many of you are familiar with. Distance makes the heart grow fonder. And tonight I'd like to change that and think of it as distance makes the community stronger. It is with the community and all of you that we have been able to continue our work throughout the pandemic and support vulnerable populations in a very tumultuous time. Now, as is the blessed tradition, I would like to start the program this evening with the recitation of the Holy Quran. I would like to welcome to the stage Hafiz of Quran, Yusuf Syed. Can we get a round of applause?
الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وما أنفقتم من نفقة أو نذرتم من نذر فإن الله يعلمه وما للظالمين من أنصار إن تبدوا الصدقات فنعما هي وإن تخفوها وتؤتوها الفقراء فهو خير لكم ويكفر عنكم من سيئاتكم والله بما تعملون خبير ليس عليك هداهم ولكن الله يهدي من يشاء وما تنفقوا من خير فلأنفسكم وما تنفقون إلا ابتغاء وجه الله وما تنفقوا من خير يوفى إليكم وأنتم لا تظلمون للفقراء الذين أحصروا في سبيل الله لا يستطيعون ضربا في الحرب يحسبهم الجاهل أغنياء من التعفف تعرفهم بسيماهم لا يسألون الناس إلحافا وما تنفقوا من خير فإن الله به عليم صدق الله العظيم. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, whatever charity you give or a pledge you fulfill, God knows it. The wrongdoers have no helpers. If you give charity openly, that is good. But if you keep it secret and give it to the needy in private, that is better for you. It will atone for some of your misdeeds. God is cognizant of what you do. Their guidance is not your responsibility, but God guides whom He wills. Any charity you give is for your own good. Any charity you give shall be for the sake of God. Any charity you give will be repaid to you in full, and you will not be wronged. It is for the poor, those who are restrained in the way of God, and unable to travel in the land. The unaware would think them rich due to their dignity, You will recognize them by their features. They do not ask from people insistently. Whatever charity you give, God is aware of it. Thank you. Jazakumullah.
Jazakallah for that beautiful recitation and translation. I'd like to acknowledge the privilege that we all carry with us here today. And we would like to do a land acknowledgement, as is the indigenous tradition. The land we are standing on today is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat people, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, people, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We would like for all those who are capable of standing or with the ability of standing to do so now for the playing of the national anthem, O Canada. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. You may now have your seats. I would like to welcome to the stage the Executive Director of Muslim Welfare Canada, Mr. Shahid A. Khan, for a welcome speech.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi Shali Sadri wa Yassir li Amri Qawli Sali Yafqahu Qawli. Qala subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Good evening and welcome to another appreciation dinner by advocacy. Alhamdulillah, we are pleased to having this occasion after the 3 whole year due to the COVID. On this special occasion, I would like to remember the founder of this organization, late Major Muhammad Abbas Ali and his wife Sabarjana Begum. May Allah grant them the highest place in Jannah. Ameen. Alhamdulillah, these last 3 years, all of our operations have been running smoothly here in Canada and overseas. Tonight, I would like to share some good news with you. Alhamdulillah, with the grace of Allah Almighty, we got the approval of the Ontario government to facilitate 192 beds of long-term care. Our consultants are working hard to complete this task. And inshallah, with your prayers, we will aim to finish it within the 2 to 3 years. In order to get this done, we need your help and prayers. I would like to thank all of the dignitaries who are here. And lastly, I would like to thank all of the dedicated volunteers and the entire MW staff. I hope you enjoy the rest of the evening. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Can I get a round of applause for our Executive Director? that was a big announcement this evening. The Muslim Welfare Canada will be opening up a long-term care center, and as we all know throughout this pandemic, what a great need that is. Now I would like to call up to the stage Noshaba Ali, President of the Board of Directors for Muslim Welfare Canada.
Assalamu alaikum and good evening everyone. On behalf of Muslim Welfare Canada, I welcome you all for the annual appreciation dinner. Our organization and staff try hard to provide the essential services in this difficult time. And as you know that with volunteers and donors, help this task is going smoothly. Alhamdulillah. Okay, they are very important pillars of our organization, and they are always there to help us in so many ways.
From morning until dark, giving out food to the needy, irrespective of anything.
Even that small space, the hardworking pair had a vision to build something big. They were driven to build something that would support people in need for generations into the future. In a few short years, their operations grew thanks to the generosity of supporters and volunteers who believed in their mission. Soon after, in 1996, they opened the Muslim Welfare Home for Women and Children in Need, sponsored halal food banks and Meals on Wheels in Scarborough, Mississauga, and Montreal, and they launched a free medical clinic for the uninsured in Scarborough. Expanding their impact even further, Muslim Welfare Canada began launching international programs, supporting child welfare through quality education, medical access, water access, and disaster relief. Years later, in 2009, during a visit to Pakistan to monitor their international projects, Major Muhammad Abbas Ali breathed his last breath at 87 after a brief illness. Sarwar Jahan Begum remained a beacon for the organization until she passed away at 84 a few years later. Right until the very end, they each dedicated their lives to supporting their brothers and sisters in need. And the remaining supporters of Muslim Welfare Canada, including the dedicated board of directors, have pledged to carry out their vision of helping the needy among us.
The director of the board tried our best to see now that a strong founder is gone, we do not end up misstepping or losing sight.
Today, Muslim Welfare Canada is maintaining momentum and continuing to expand their impact with the launch of more programs. More food banks, some as far as the Canadian Arctic for our Indigenous brothers and sisters. More shelters and now transition homes. More free clinics, and soon, a 192-bed long-term care facility. More senior support, and soon, affordable housing for seniors, and more aid to the oppressed in poor countries.
Before we initiate, we make sure that we do enough study to ascertain that we will be able to maintain the program.
Muslim Welfare Canada has been going strong for 29 years now. There's still so much work to do to help so many people who are suffering. And your continued support and donations are needed. Your donations are what keep us on the front lines, bringing disaster relief, building homes, expanding medical access, supporting children, and providing basic human rights like food and water.
So, I have a couple questions, and this requires audience interaction. It's whoever can give us the most energy with my questions, okay? There is a prize at the end. You will wait to find out. But my first question is, who's excited to be here today? Oh, I was hearing this side. We have significantly less people, guys. So, who's excited to be here today? I would say it's like a tie. My next question is, whose first time is it at one of these banquets? Okay, newer people here. That's probably why you guys left the worst seats on that end, because these are the regulars. Who's ready to hear Minister of Transport, the Honorable Omar Al-Gabra, say his speech? That's right, me too. Okay, so with that, I'd like to invite him to the stage, as well as Muhammad Faki, the President and CEO of Paramount Fine Foods, the Islamic Center of Markham President, and the Islamic Foundation of Toronto. You guys can make your way to the front.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Omar Al-Ghabra. I'm the Member of Parliament from Mississauga. Scarborough feels almost as far as Ottawa to me, but I am really honored to be with you tonight. I'm here with my friend and colleague, MP from Scarborough, Gary Anandasandri. Let me just say, the Muslim Welfare Canada has been close and dear to my heart for years. There's a center in Mississauga in my own riding that I visit frequently and get to learn firsthand about the work that the center does. And I want to say that Major Abbas Ali looks down on the Muslim Welfare, I keep calling it the Muslim Welfare Center, but now it's called Muslim Welfare Canada, with pride. The growth and the progress that the community center has done over the years gives all of us, Muslim and non-Muslim Canadians, a great, great sense of pride. And I really want to thank the board of directors of the organization, the staff, the volunteers, for the dedication and the commitment that you demonstrate to our community. And the values that you represent are true Muslim values that reflect compassion, generosity, and commitment to our collective well-being. Whether it is providing food to those who have food insecurity, or shelter to those who need shelter, or food baskets during Ramadan, regardless of one's background. The fact that I'm here tonight with members of provincial parliament, ministers of Ontario, senators, city councillors, MPs and ministers tells you how the rest of society values the contribution that you make to our community. So I want to thank you, and I want to close by this. Senator Atullah John and I have been hosting MWC in Ottawa for the last few years when we're able to organize the Project Ramadan Basket Assembly on Parliament Hill. Which G7 country can say that a Muslim organization comes on Parliament Hill, organizes a Ramadan food drive? I am willing to bet that there is no G7 country that does this other than Canada. And it's a testament about what Canada and who Canada is, but it's a testament to the Muslim Welfare Center for the work that they do. So I'm here to thank you, to express my gratitude to all of you, and send the Prime Minister's personal greetings to all of you. He actually did participate a couple of years ago with the assembly of baskets for Project Ramadan. So thank you very much. Jazakallah for all the work that you're doing. Thank you for inviting me, and I wish you a terrific event. Assalamu alaikum.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening, everyone. I'm so pleased to be here with my really good friend, the Honorable Omar Al-Ghabra. Omar and I have had a very, very important journey together over the past decade, and I truly call him a dear friend of mine. And we're both here very honored to join all of you. We're joined by a number of representatives from the province as well as the city, notably Vijay Kanigasan, who's my provincial counterpart, and also I want to acknowledge Jamal Myers, who is the newly elected city councillor for Scarborough North, who will be representing the Melbourne Muslim Welfare Canada to City Hall. So welcome Jamal to the Scarborough team, and of course Zach Pierce here and others as well. This is a very important organization for all of us. It transcends parties, it transcends communities. It's an organization that serves many parts of Canada, particularly Northern Canada, Iqaluit, and places where we have very strong indigenous populations. This is a vision of the Ali family and the entire team that supports this organization, whether it's the volunteers, the staff, the funders, those who sweat during the summer and are cold in the winter. It doesn't stop any of you from stepping up and supporting your community. So I'm really thankful for all of your support. There's going to be many, many more incredible things that this organization is going to achieve, including the building of the long-term care home, which is a milestone, I think, for this community. So congratulations to everyone involved. Look forward to great success in the years to come. Thank you.
And now we'd like to present a couple of awards. So first, presented by President Noshab Ali to Gary, MP Gary and FS Sunri. Thank you so much. As well as to Mr. Omar Al-Gabra. We're going to take a picture.
When you take the picture, okay.
I'd also like to call to the stage the president of the Islamic Center of Markham, as well as the Islamic Foundation of Toronto.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for having me here tonight. As was mentioned, my name is Nicole Powell. I'm a development consultant with SHS Consulting. I'm here with Ed Starr, who's a partner of SHS Consulting, and we're here to support the Muslim Welfare Center on this incredible project to build a long-term care home and a campus care project. So just a brief overview of the presentation I'll be giving today. I'll just give a brief introduction of who the Muslim Welfare Center is. Of course, you guys know that, and also who we are as SHS Consulting. And then I'll just discuss briefly the need for more long-term care beds in Ontario. Then I'll just give a brief overview of the long-term care facility project, the campus care project, and of course its benefits. Then I'll provide you guys with some sneak peeks of the concept plan, so what's it going to look like. Then I'll just give you a brief update in terms of where we're at, the project status, and next steps. And I'm happy to take any questions at the end. Okay, so about the Muslim Welfare Center, I mean, you all likely know just as much as me or better than me about the Muslim Welfare Center. Of course, they're a registered charity since the early 90s. You know, they were initially established as a food bank in Scarborough, and from there, you know, they've now expanded so greatly. They offer such a wide variety of services to the community across Ontario and across Canada and beyond. Of course, as you all likely know, just a couple... Yeah, sure. As you all likely know, a couple services offered by the Muslim Welfare Center. They include free medical clinics for the uninsured, public school nutrition programs, emergency shelter for women and children, transitional housing, and just beyond. The Muslim Welfare Center is such a large organization with over 70 staff, 600 volunteers, and generating a lot in terms of revenue from fundraising and donations yearly. Just quickly about our firm, SHS Consulting. So we're an affordable housing consulting firm. We specialize in affordable housing development, so it includes long-term care homes, affordable seniors housing, rental housing, and things like that. And so supporting the Muslim Welfare Center on this long-term project would be myself as a development manager and Ed Starr as one of the partners of our firm. So just to provide a brief overview of the need for more long-term care beds across Ontario, there's a large and growing shortfall of long-term care beds in Ontario right now. The wait list to get a bed is around 30,000, so that you can imagine that's 30,000 seniors that need long-term care and aren't able to get it. You can look at the population of seniors from 2016 projected off to 2041. It's really such a growing population, with the seniors population expected to double. And further to that, there's really a shortage of long-term care homes that are culturally sensitive and appropriate to the diverse communities that Ontario has. So just to provide a brief project overview of the long-term care facility and of course the Campus of Care project in general, the Muslim Welfare Centre is really embarking on a journey to build a state-of-the-art Campus of Care project in the Greater Toronto area. The goals of this project are that it's resident and family focused, it embodies the principles of an age-friendly community, and it really responds to the community need. This project is broken down into 2 phases. So phase 1 is the long-term care facility that's going to have 192 beds and associated functional space. And then phase 2 would be that campus of care piece that will also have affordable seniors housing. The Muslim Welfare Centre recently secured around 2 hectares of land in a small town called Cordis, Ontario, but that's within Durham Region, the municipality of Clarington, and it's a really growing area. So just a brief project overview of that first phase, the long-term care facility itself. As I mentioned, it's going to have 192 beds and in an environment that's really culturally sensitive to those in the South Asian community. The Minister of Long-Term Care is supportive of this project and as such has allocated 192 beds for this project. In terms of the site is zoned for a long-term care facility, so that really makes things a lot easier. It provides the project a lot more certainty and really can make us build quicker and faster. In terms of a preliminary project cost for the long-term care facility, we're projecting it'll be estimated around a total budget of $77 million. This includes the construction of the facility of over 122 square feet, as well as the purchase of the property and necessary soft costs. And in order to make the project happen, the Muslim Welfare Centre is required to contribute around $3 million in equity towards the project. And this will be achieved through donations and fundraising, and part of why I think you all are here tonight. Just to give you a brief overview of some of the project benefits, of course it creates more long-term care. It's going to generate a lot of employment, spin-off economic benefits, and of course the next stage is affordable housing for seniors. So I think there was concept plans, but we can, I think they were already shown, so we can move past that. And just in terms of where we are in the project and next steps. So initial work on the long-term care project has commenced. This includes obtaining some due diligence studies, like a property survey. We're retaining architects right now to finalize that concept design.
Sorry everyone, we have our guest here, Nicole, and we would really love it if everyone could pay attention to her presentation and be respectful, and that includes no chatting. So if everybody could pay attention to stage and listen to Nicole. Thank you.
And maybe just like 3 minutes left, so I'll make it quick. Thanks for that. So as I did mention, initial work on this project has commenced. We're in the process of retaining an architect, and we have interviews on Monday to select the architect that provides the best value for the best price. In addition, we're in the process of engaging an operator to support, of course, the operations of the long-term care home, and they'll also be there to support the pre-development stages so we can incorporate their expertise to ensure the design of the building is really state-of-the-art and meets the needs of its residents. We're also right now conducting financial analyses, and of course we have that preliminary project budget, and we're confirming sources of financing right now. And of course we're also in the process of engaging with the Ministry of Long-Term Care on the financial approval process and with the municipality as well. So next steps are we're going to establish that concept design, we're going to engage with municipal staff, we're going to be conducting some of those necessary site studies, and we'll be, of course, soliciting feedback, engaging with the Ministry of Long-Term Care, engaging with the municipality on the project plans, and incorporating their feedback. In terms of project timelines and key tasks, right now we're in the due diligence phase of the project, which is doing all of those required work, site studies, setting up the preliminary financing. in establishing that project concept. Then we'll get into that detailed design stage. We will engage with the municipality, Minister of Long-Term Care. We'll confirm our sources of financing, and we'll be developing those permit drawings. And then the final phase would be the construction phase, which we're projecting to be early in 2024, where we're going to issue tenders for construction, execute our development agreement, and put shovels in the ground. So it's a really exciting project, and thank you guys so much for listening and for your support of the Muslim Welfare Center for building long-term care and affordable housing. Thanks.
And as we were told, this is the first time in the last 3 years that we have had an opportunity to come together. So a big applause for that. I'm just going to very briefly touch upon a few of the newer projects that we are really excited about. Altogether, we have over 30 different programs and projects, mostly in Canada, and as you were told, as far north as in the Arctic Circle. And then we have some projects and programs in abroad, mostly in Pakistan. So the new projects that I want to talk to you about, the first one is a transition home, a shelter which was opened last November in Whitby. So in Whitby we already have a shelter, an emergency shelter, since 1996. But then last year we were offered a grant or a forgivable loan by the region of Durham, and we were asked that if we can buy a facility or a motel or a building where we could start a transition home, then we could get a grant from the region of Durham, the province of Ontario. So we were able to secure a motel, a roadside motel, and we have converted it to a transition home. It's a 26-room motel, has a capacity of housing 27 women. This transition home is for women, and the facility has been renovated before we opened in November last year. At the moment, we are renovating the common areas of the facility, like the commercial kitchen, the dining hall, and the classrooms. But we are really excited and very proud to have had this opportunity to start a new shelter or to address the housing situation in the region of Durham. So we are really very thankful or grateful to the region of Durham for providing us or for arranging this grant or forgivable loan for us. It cost us around $5.5 million, and we got, in addition to the $2.5 million we got from the region and the province of Ontario, we got the rest, a total of $5.5 million from the CMHC. And so the facility is going to be, the principal cost is all being paid by the government through different channels. And we are also getting some grants to operate the facility. So we are really thankful to all the government and the provincial government agencies that have had. The second project that we are really excited about is the long-term care that was mentioned. So it'll be perhaps one of the first long-term care facilities operated by a Muslim organization. 192-bed facility, as you were told, in Curtis. We're really excited because it's not only going to be 192-bed long-term care, but we'll have on campus, we'll also have a 100-unit or almost 100-unit seniors affordable housing building. So that's why we are calling it campus of care. So when it comes to long-term care, I would like to acknowledge Brother Khalid Rashid, who's an MVP. If I can ask him to join me on the stage. He was instrumental for making sure that we did get the permission from the government. And he really supported our application. And the other person I would like to join me here, let me take a step back. The biggest problem we had for getting the LTC built was finding the right piece of land. It was, we looked for it for more than maybe 2 years or close to 3 years. We were having all sorts of problems with zoning until Brother Tanveer Wahidi of the Durham Islamic Center, no additional capital investment from our own pockets. We are now seeing, anticipating that within the next 1 year we'll need $3 million additional from our own coffers, from our own pockets. And that's where we need the help of all our donors who are gathered here to support so that we can chip in with the $3 million that's needed by this time next year, inshallah. And I'm sure, as you have helped us in the past, you will make sure that we get the funds needed. So we have these three gentlemen here, and I would like to really acknowledge their help. There were so many other people, but then there were a few who were really instrumental. And I'm sorry if I missed your name, because I know that all along these 3 to 4 years, we have had so much support for this project. Lastly, the project that we will soon announce is rebuilding of villages in Pakistan. In Pakistan, the floods this year were, really, really serious. Nothing like this has ever happened in Pakistan since its creation. At the peak of the floods, more than a third of the country was underwater. So it's estimated that 200,000 houses have been destroyed and will need to be rebuilt. These are houses in the villages, belonging to poor villages. So we will be launching an initiative, inshallah, God willing, to rebuild as many houses as we can within the next few months. Each house will cost, on the average, I was there last few weeks in Pakistan to look into the prospect of rebuilding houses. Each house is going to cost us about $2,500 on the average. A one-room house or a two-room house, a village of 100 houses with clusters of 15 to 20 houses together, common latrines, common animal shelters and all. Where do you want to get? Minister, I understand. Yeah. Like you here on the stage.
We need an Ashad. Like first we have to just put.
Yeah. So at this point is what I understand who you wanted to say a few words.
Thank you very much. I'm not going to. I'll be very brief. Very honored to join all of you for this important event on behalf of the Muslim Welfare Center. My exposure to Muslim Welfare Center was in Regent Park when you put together the meal program for vulnerable members of the community, and I was able to see firsthand the work. But since then, you've expanded to other activities, including housing, transitional homes, now seniors housing, long-term care center planning, as well as the international work that you're doing around the world. So I want to really thank you and all of you for supporting the good work of the Muslim Welfare Center. And you know, it's driven. The work of the Muslim Welfare Center is driven by a belief that each and every one, given the right tools, has the potential to succeed, and we have to make sure that everyone in our community is doing well, whether we're talking about housing, whether we're talking about access to education, access to making sure that people are not malnourished, and so on. And you practice all of that in Canada and around the world. And for all your hard work, I want to thank you. I want to thank the leadership, and I want to thank all of you for supporting Muslim Welfare Center and the good work that they do right across the country, but also around the world. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you very much, Brother Usman. And we wanted you here, but as I said in my brief talk, we will be building affordable housing as campus of here as part of the LC, the overall project. We definitely need your help. So,
Once I get the mic.
this one's, of course, in appreciation and recognition of your continued support to the organization. We really value your support. So, big hand for Brother Usman.
And I would like to ask Vijay Panigasalam, MPP for Scarborough Rouge Park, come on stage. We'd like to hear a few words from both of these representatives.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum everyone, and Jazakumullah khair for having us here this evening. First of all, I would like to say thank you to Muslim Welfare Center for doing such an incredible job, especially during the tough times. As you all know, we just, alhamdulillah, passed COVID, and the Muslim Welfare Center really came out strong, supporting the most vulnerable individuals of not just our community, but every community, whether it's food bank or participating in a Fill a Backpack. Just want to say thank you, and your incredible generosity of bringing every community together. This goes to show that we are truly Canadian. We don't look at anyone's race, religion, or color of their skin. Instead, we are just one Canadian supporting each other during tough times. And I must acknowledge over here that even though we are getting credit for the long-term care center, there was a huge team, but the most important person who unfortunately is not here is the Honorable Premier Doug Ford, who was the true champion behind making sure that the Muslim community does get a long-term care. We had our first meeting with him, and right away he said that he is ready to sign off on 192 beds long-term care for the Muslim community. So let's just give Premier Ford a huge round of applause, because without his support, we always say Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala is the one who does everything, but Premier Ford really played a huge role. I'm also joined by my colleague over here, Vijay Thanigasalam, who is a member of Provincial Parliament for Scarborough Rouge Park, and also Parliamentary Assistant to Ministry of Infrastructure. So he's going to be playing a very important role in the building of the long-term care home. So Vijay, maybe you want to say a few words. Please give it up for Vijay Thanigasalam.
Good evening everyone, it's great to join Muslim Welfare Canada for this appreciation event. One of my favorite campaigns Muslim Welfare Canada does throughout the event is Fill the Backpack event. They do many events, and we're grateful for the founder, Major Ali Abbas, and his family for the legacy of generosity, legacy of giving back to the community, not just to the Muslim community, for the entire Canadian community at large in GTA and across. I want to thank Minister Khalid Rashid, our Minister of Public and Business Service Delivery, for his commitment, not just for the Muslim community, across Ontario, especially for his Minister Khalid Rashid's commitment and Premier Dakpo's commitment for establishing the long-term care. So thank you, Minister Khalid, for your leadership, not just in Mississauga, across Ontario. And also thanks the leadership of Muslim Welfare Canada for your dedication and hard work, for all the volunteers, especially when I attend the Fill the Backpack event, I see all the next generation, they participate to give back to the community. And that's the success story of Muslim Welfare Canada. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you so much for your great work. Thank you.
We're gonna bring it back now. We have a couple more people to thank, but before we get to that, I would like to ask you again some very important questions that we will be taking it into account for the winners of each side. There is a prize, let me remind you. The first question is, do you prefer pineapples on pizza, or do you think they don't belong on pizza? So first, let me hear if you think that pineapples belong on pizza. That was pretty weak, which I personally agree with. Now let me hear if you think pineapple does not deserve a place on pizza. You are my people. But I think we did lose that one. The next question is, do you put your milk before your cereal, or your cereal before your milk? So first, milk before cereal. Guys, that's weird. Aisha, that's weird. Come on, man. You're not trying to portion out the milk, you're trying to portion out the cereal, right? Well, it'll get soggy if you don't pour the milk, like, appropriately, which you need to know. Anyways, so those are my questions. Thank you for the input. Brother Rayhan is going to determine who the winner is, so he's taking all this data and analyzing it. But I would like to call to the stage Senator Salma Abdullah John for a short speech.
Assalamu alaikum and good evening, everyone. I consider myself an ambassador for the Muslim Welfare Center. My association with them is many years long. I've traveled with them to Iqaluit, where we opened the Muslim Food Bank. But we've heard of all the work that the Muslim Welfare does and the great volunteers that they have. But today I want to talk about something else, agar aap ijazat dein. So I'm chair of the Human Rights Committee in the Senate, and I started a study on Islamophobia, and we have traveled from one end of Canada to the other end. How many of you know that the most Muslims killed in a G7 country was here in Canada? How many people know that? And that is what prompted me to do this study. We went to the Quebec Mosque where the shootings took place. We were taken and shown the place where every body was that was killed, where the body lay. We heard in Edmonton about how the young Muslim women who are wearing hijab are spat on, coffees thrown on them, and they kicked to the ground. We heard here in Toronto about how difficult it is to be a Muslim. But we also heard last week that 1 in every 20 Canadians is a Muslim. 5% of the population of Canada is a Muslim. And the other thing that we heard, most of you probably think that the racism is worse in the USA. That's not what our witnesses are telling us. So this is a study that I've started. It will go on till February. We will be releasing a report. We will have recommendations for the federal government, and they will have to respond to us. Because the Muslims are here to stay. We're here, we're contributing, as we see by the work that is done by the Muslim Welfare Center. And I just have to share that with you because we have heard so much, about what is happening with Muslims in Canada. I don't think people are aware of how bad it has gotten. The racism here is worse for Muslims. In fact, in England, they did a study where they said Canada has become a dangerous place. Anyway, we are here to celebrate, the work that the Muslim Welfare Center does. But I wanted to throw this at you that if anybody has experienced anything, we're still looking for witnesses for the Senate committee. Please come and speak to me. And I want to thank you for the work you do. And I am heading to Iqaluit in February. And I'm hoping to go to the Muslim welfare, the food bank, because my daughter told me yesterday, she said there's so much food insecurity there, and that you are doing such incredible work. So I want to congratulate you, because in the northern, in the Arctic, there's great food insecurity, and there was a need there, and you felt that need. So alhamdulillah, and congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for sharing that. We're going to actually present an award, so don't go anywhere yet. So we'd like to have Mohammed Rehan and Brooke Shabar, MWC, to present an award.
Wow, good evening everyone. How is everyone doing tonight? Yes. Come on, we can be a bit more energetic. Is everyone doing good tonight? All right. Well, today's about appreciation, and I'm so delighted to be here as the local member of Parliament for Scarborough North. And of course, it's always very special for me to support and be present here at NWC, because what you do is so incredibly special. We've all been through a very difficult 2.5 years, and we've seen that in our own lives, in our communities. And earlier this year, research showed that food bank usage hit the highest in a single month. 1.5 million visits in March alone across this country, and that's the highest number recorded in recent history. And it tells me one thing, which is that people, Canadians, are suffering. And when you combine that suffering, that lack of access to food and food insecurity, with other factors like racialization and poverty, the problem only gets worse. So I want to commend MWC, because what you do is so incredibly important. And you've been doing it now for almost 30 years. Because I remember it was in just 1993 when Major Abbas and Ms. Begum began the Muslim Welfare Center of Toronto. And through these many decades, you have continued to expand from a humble food bank in Scarborough to a national program. And I know that now you are addressing food insecurity across the country with the establishment of the first Muslim Food Fund. And this is so important because in Canada, we are always very proud and happy to say how multicultural and diverse we are. Yes, those things are realities, but inclusion is a choice. And it's up to us as Canadians to build that inclusive community so that the needs of our diverse communities are met. And it begins with programs like this. So I want to thank all of you today, because tonight is about you. It's about appreciating the volunteers, the staff, and the community members, the supporters, the donors, and the sponsors that make this important work possible. So thank you so much, and I'm very delighted to be here. I look forward to continuing to work with you to see programs like Project Ramadan come back to do a basketball in Ottawa. Now that things are opening it up, it's wonderful to see all the smiling faces in this room. Congratulations on your great work, and let's continue to build and make a positive difference in the lives of Canadians. Thank you, and on behalf of parliamentarians, and of course Senator Salma is here tonight as well, I'd like to present this congratulatory message, and perhaps Shahid, the Executive Director, and the folks on stage, Mohammed and company can join me. Thank you so much.
Assalamu alaikum. So Team Project Ramadan is here. MashaAllah, very dedicated team, working so hard without any reward like they are really giving us. So let us not please give them please. Thank you very much.
Ramadan is one of our most popular programs with the younger generation, and for they have been active for the last 12 years and generated millions of dollars and distributed many thousands of food packages to families all around the GTA and in Ontario and as far as Quebec. So a big hand for Brother Ramadan. It's only half the team. Half the team is missing in action. There are like 16 members.
With our community leaders, media personalities, we have Sister Arfa Muzaffar, Majid Bhai, Arfa Sahaba, thank you very much to coming up here. Jazakallah. Yeah, we can please come here with Samir Allah Saab. He's also coming all the way from Pakistan. He's very generous. And yeah, okay. And like I also recognize Sabir Daya Saab, connected with us with Muslim Welfare Center right from the beginning. He started doing capturing every event from Muslim Welfare Center from last 30 years. So please come here, Sabir Daya Saab, so we can have a good picture. Or we can have a picture here. That's fine. And Ovaisal Palwai, if you are here, so please come on the stage. You are mashallah doing a lot of activities for the community. And Anjum Malik Saab, please come on the stage as well. Anjum Malik Saab, please come on the stage. And yeah, please come on the stage. So yeah, and if we are missing anyone here, and then I also recognize Sister Malika Boss. She's newly elected, or very young trustee. She's newly elected here in Don Valley area, right? Don, right? Okay. No, great efforts. Congratulations, and thank you very much for coming on our event, mashallah.
But before we get there, we wanted to invite to the stage Atia Siddiqui from Muslim Welfare Home and Athar Siddiqui, Senior Administrator of Muslim Welfare Residences. Round of applause. And with them, I would like to invite to the stage Malika Shahid, Councillor of Whitby, East Ward 4.
I bring greetings from the town of Whitby Mayor and Council. And it is my pleasure to be with you. You know what, the most proud it makes to stand between my friends, my family, Atya Bhabi and Athar Bhai, and the tremendous work that they are doing in town of Whitby. Not only from the emergency women's shelter, but now an amazing transitional home. And it is my pleasure to give my gratitude and thanks to both of you and the team of Muslim Welfare Center of the work that they are doing. I am here standing proud of the work that the Muslim Welfare Center in the leadership of Shahid Bhai, Iqbal Bhai, Riyad Bhai, the work that they have done. So I'm going to leave you with this one small story. I had a few food banks within the town of Whitby, and when those food banks needed help, my one call made so much difference to the food bank that Muslim Welfare Center is providing halal meat to those food banks. So I'd like to give my thanks to the entire organization that is helping Canadians from coast to coast and Muslims all around the world. So again, thank you so much for the invite. Please keep on doing the good work and make our nation proud. Jazakallah. Thank you.